Hi everyone, thanks for joining me again. Bear with me on this video, we're going to move really quickly. This was such a big build. So with a big build like this, I always start with plans, very detailed plans, because it helps reduce the chance of making mistakes when you've already cut the materials and then realizing you maybe should have cut them in another way. It's better to make the mistake on paper. So I'm building the drawers right now, and as you can see here, out of plywood. They've got walnut faces, and I'm labeling all the pieces because there are just so many pieces. I've made the mistake before of not labeling them and then accidentally mistaking one piece for another and cutting it when I shouldn't have. Pocket holes just for efficiency. Sure, it would be lovely to do traditional joinery, but that's not realistic most of the time. Joinery is more about hobby and, personal challenge. In the real world, you've got to make it feasible, and that means fasteners. Using a tapering jig here to cut some straight pieces for the faces. I'm deliberately getting in the sapwood so you get that nice contrast between dark and light. I think you've seen me use the draw knife before on live edge, if I'm not mistaken. Draw knife followed by a random orbital sander I think is just great. It really cleans up a live edge nicely. Flattening some more faces. Still working on the drawer faces here. I only built that sled a few months ago, and I've found that I haven't really needed the miter saw since I built the sled. It's quite nice. Getting the edges straight and square and flat with the benchtop jointer. Getting ready for the glue up, obviously. Can't remember why I opted for polyurethane glue. Oh, yeah, actually, I do remember now. You'll probably see it in the next scene, yeah. It's hard to tell, but I've got edge grain glued to the sides. You can see it on the right there. See how I've done that on the left of the piece from your perspective? Because that butts up against edge grain, polyurethane glue is much better than regular wood glue to hold edge grain. Of course, as I've mentioned before in other videos, it comes with its negative aspects too. It foams up and you have to clean it all up, which is a real pain. Back to wood glue whenever I can because it's just easier. Using the vernier caliper to verify that my faces are properly centered. Bloom brand sliders, beautiful. Quite a bit more expensive than most of the alternatives, but also quite a bit nicer. They're just so smooth and they hold up for a long time. So whenever I do high-end drawers, I always use Bloom. I don't even really suggest that there's another option. It's just if you're going to spend enough money to build an expensive cabinet, then it doesn't make any sense not to use Bloom. Cutting up some trim pieces to cover up the exposed edges of the plywood for the cabinet drawers. And now walnut veneer plywood that makes up the sides of the cabinet that will enclose the drawers that we've just been watching. Changing things up a little bit, switched over to the main table surface sanding it down, obviously. I did another video where I reviewed the Veritas router sled. So if you want to see some of the prep work I did on this slab, you can see it in that video. I keep going back and trying this this grain filler compound, but I don't know, it just seems like every time I do it, I end up deciding it really didn't seem to make a difference. It's supposed to help give a smoother surface. I don't know, I'm not convinced. It seems right, that's why I keep trying it. In theory, it sounds like it should fill up the gaps and help give you a nice glass-like finish, but either I'm doing something wrong or it doesn't actually work, one of the two. Of course, obviously I'm putting cabinets together here, measuring out the holes. You'll see later in the video that the hinges, or pardon me, the poles I'm about to install are actually no longer there again at the end of the video, and that's because I made the mistake of assuming the client wanted them. But as it turns out, he just wanted clean faces. There's a bit better view of the slab. Trimming the edge. If you don't use a track saw, then what are you waiting for? When it comes to making straight, long cuts, there's no substitute. And I've been through the whole process of you know, making your own slide out of melamine, or your own guide rather out of melamine. It just doesn't work. And I've tried some of the, I'm going to say it, half-assed apparatuses you can buy that are designed to mate with your skill saw, or your, I should say, circular saw, to mimic the effect of a track saw, and unfortunately, I just found that they were not worth it at all, and I'm sorry that I bought them. Always something has to break. So that edge trim, I just put some CA glue on there, sanded it down, it doesn't show. This, I was really nervous about this cut. I procrastinated a lot. He wanted, most waterfall edges have a crotch. This one didn't. The slab was so big that it didn't have a crotch in it. So, but he wanted it. So I had to make a cut to sort of simulate a crotch. Oh, there's the black cat. Always have to have a black cat in my videos. This time, a real one came by. Put it all together. Really happy with it. I filled the holes where the poles had been with epoxy and brown dye. And there's the piece delivered to the client. Alright, so that's my latest video. I've got lots in the works. I'm looking forward to bringing the rest to you soon. Thank you for watching. Take care.